Hey guys, it's Kyler Muscle here. Since I've been losing all my gains, you should go follow Justin Morgan to figure out how to get all them gains. You know what I'm saying? What's up, guys? Justin Morgan here, coming back at you with another week of training. And this week is week 4, I believe, of the Masters version of the Russian squat routine. And I kind of just integrating a lot of other lifts in here. My plan now, you always train differently depending on what your goals are, of course. So for me, I don't really have a specific sport that I'm dedicated to. Primarily, I train for weightlifting because it's the most technical of the sports that I kind of enjoy. But I also, train for strongman, powerlifting, and I really just, want to look good. So, I do all these different things for muscle building, for training the snatch, clean and jerk, squats, pulls more than deadlift, and then I actually just don't bench press at all. I do overhead presses and dips for shoulder, chest, and tricep, building of the muscle. So if I ever do decide to do a powerlifting meet again and get back into powerlifting, then I at least will have the muscle there to train to develop my numbers and get back up to, hopefully close to where I used to be when I did compete primarily in powerlifting. So this week, one of the differences between the Masters version of the Russian squat routine and the regular Russian squat routine is that the regular version is 6 weeks, and it's 3 sessions per week with 1 to 2 every other session being an increase in either volume or intensity. So there's 3 weeks where you build up to 6 sets of 6, and that's actually what I do in this video. Although in the Masters version it happens at the end of week 4 instead of the beginning or middle or whatever of week 3. So I also do 3 squat sessions, but 2 of them are recovery sessions. One of them is 3 sets of 3 at 80% in the back squat, and one of them is 3 sets of 3 at 80% in the front squat. So this is also different than the way that the Russian squat routine is laid out. Generally, you do 6 sets of 2, but I prefer just to do less sets. My goal is to get out of the gym at a quicker time. So 3 sets of 3 at 80% is still a pretty good recovery session. And, for somebody that, is I only have I only have a given amount of time to train. So I have to factor and consider that into my training. If I had all day to train and do nothing else, then I might still do things the way that I do them, but I would probably be more likely just to follow programming like that as it's written. But, this isn't my main goal in life. I'm not trying to be a professional athlete. So, I think I do pretty well. I train and compete at a relatively high level, especially given my age. I mean, I'm not really old, but I'm older than the average lifter, and I got into it much later in my 30s than the average person that's, trying to compete and do well in weightlifting or powerlifting or strongman. So, I'm kind of still a work in progress, still making gains, still seeing how far I can go, but I also have a life outside of this. So, I guess that's basically it. One reason to do the Masters version over the regular version is just the weight that you're able to add. If you're kind of a beginner lifter and you're getting into lifting and you want to try the Russian squat routine, it may not be very good because you could probably make a lot more progress just trying to add weight linearly every week or every session, doing several sessions per week. But if you are kind of an intermediate lifter where your squat and your presses and things have gone up pretty well, then it's probably really good to do the 6-week version because it can bring up leg strength. Now, I don't know of any school of training or methodology coming out of Russia that has used the Russian squat routine. It just appeared in a book back in, I think, like the 70s. So, that's something to consider. But what I like about it is that it has this volume accumulation phase, all in the 80% range, with 80% kind of being the base of training, and then it goes up to 6 sets of 6 at 80%, which is a considerable amount of volume, and then it starts to taper off week by week. So I hit the max volume and will begin to go up in the preceding week. So it'll be 5 sets of 5 at 85%, 4 sets of 4 at 90%. Yeah, that's right. 3 sets of 3 at 95%, 2 sets of 2 at 100%, and obviously we're in pretty much PR territory there. If you're doing your max for more than 1 rep, then you've definitely made progress. So I don't think that this type of program is something where I will be able to continue to make progress every 9-week period on the master's version. So my thought is that maybe I could alternate doing the front squat and the deadlift as my primary lifts, and kind of sub out the volume between those two lifts in the really stressful weeks, like the 6 sets of 6. But for the recovery sessions, I would either do back squat or front squat, just like I do now, except that now I'm doing twice a week back squat and front squat once a week only on a recovery session, and I don't really do any deadlifting at all. So it would be a different type of stimulus and something that I could build on for 9 weeks and then go back into the squat version. And at that point, it would, one, be a novel stimulus because I hadn't trained with a high volume or intensity for 9 weeks by that point, and I will have maintained hopefully the lift by doing the recovery sessions at 3 sets of 3 at 80%, and then just working the front squat at higher intensity should have at least a small amount of carryover to the back squat. Typically the front squat does not carry over as well to the back squat, but that doesn't mean it doesn't carry over at all to the back squat. It just doesn't carry over really well. So you can add weight to your front squat and have your back squat go nowhere. Typically, if you add weight to your back squat, though, your front squat will go up along with it. And a normal range that you should look for that to be in is that you should be able to front squat right around 80% of your back squat. So that's about what I do. My in recent times, my current training maxes are 475 pounds in the back squat and 385 pounds in the front squat. So that's not the heaviest I've ever lifted, but it's currently kind of where my best lifts are at. But anyway, so good talking with you guys. Remember to hit like, subscribe, and follow the channel, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.